big treat. It's a super summit. So please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the one and only, the great
Chris Taylor. So Chris has to go. He has to get a plane. He flew all the way from New York just for this. Can you believe that?
Wow.
We are so blessed. Chris has been with us for a long time, for a couple of years now, and he's one of our dearest supporters. He's always, does everything he can to be here with his lovely wife too, and they fly to our events. And he's such an amazing guy. He's such a motivational, positive spirit, and I truly love this guy. So one more time, let's give him a big round of applause. Chris.
Would it be safe to assume that everybody in this room is a business owner? Speaker, author, all of the above?
Yes.
Who wants to raise their level of influence to another level?
Yes.
Who's already there but wants to raise even higher? Right? Because when it comes to influence, it's not about us. It's about others that we're serving. You see, if we're going to serve other people at a higher level, we have to be that example. So I'd like to ask somebody here in the crowd, what does influence mean to you? What does influence mean to you? Who would like to volunteer?
Influence means like needy.
What's it again?
Needy.
Needy?
Needy.
Needy. Okay, gotcha.
Influence would be like getting a team of people together with the same ideas, same goals, and working together to make it.
That's great.
Forward.
Interdependency, right?
Yes.
Not codependent. One more. Anybody?
Having the ability to change positions.
Okay, great. All good stuff. There's no right or wrong answers here. So, but here's the thing about influence. Influence does not mean that we're here to persuade someone or a group of people to see our point of view. Right? Because think about that. They're going to be dependent upon you to have something get done in their lives or in their business. But see, that doesn't work long term. See, what a master influencer does when he has the ability to do is the ability to put out information unbiasedly that allows that person or that group of people to see something from a different perspective. And when you have the ability to do that, you have the ability to empower that individual to draw their own conclusion. Now think about it. If you are a coach or a consultant, you're a business owner, you can be a really good salesperson. But if that person made a decision based upon your persuasion abilities, that's good. But think about it. Is it going to be sustainable? As business owners, do we want to be constantly going through people and more people and more people? We can only serve so many people unless we are able to duplicate ourselves and leverage that and then grow from there. But when you have the ability to do it from influence, the ability to have somebody draw their own conclusion, you have the ability for that person to make a decision for themselves that they're coming to you and they're going to commit. And here's what's even better about influencing, is that when they work with you and they're satisfied with the level of service that you provided to them, they're more likely to do what? It's the R word. Refer. Refer. That's how you build your business. Referrals. I've been doing this, I've been in businesses now for over 20 years, but I've been in this business of consulting for only 8 years. 8 years. I've never once advertised or used any marketing whatsoever. Now, most people say I'm crazy. That's not the way to build a business. You have to raise. What's that? Okay. So that being said, how do you do that? How do you do that from a level of influence? Well, you heard some things about today from John Shin. You heard that act, right? Take appropriate action, be consistent. It's being consistent with your message. But here's the thing about your message. Your message is going to be consistent and it's going to connect with your audience and be able to draw the people that see what you do, that want to come along, not only follow you, but to empower them to do something with that information, to do something great in their lives, in business. You have to be the example. And John mentioned that today, and he did a great job about Think and Grow Rich, talking about building that foundation. But here's the thing. most of us and most businesses operate on a faulty foundation. What do I mean by that? A faulty foundation. It might look good from the outside, but that foundation has cracks. It might be leaking something. And is it going to be sustainable long term? Maybe. Most likely not. So the thing is, as an influencer, we have to be that example. We have to build that foundation. And what that means is not operating within the problem of what's holding you back personally, but it's getting to the root cause of those limited beliefs that are causing that problem. Okay? Does this require some work that you have to go a little deep? Well, it depends on the person. But when you have the ability to get to the root cause of what holds you back so that you can be the example for others to influence, does that mean everything's going to be perfect? No. But what it means is that you're going to have the ability to see the challenges, the obstacles and setbacks in business, because it happens. You're going to be able to see it in a way that you see the blessings and opportunities disguised in it. You're going to see in the long run what you're going to, not only going to become, what you're going to do as an influencer to make a difference in the people that you serve. Because when you come from a level of service by being an example, great things happen. So how you go about being the example? So being the example is that we need to get to the root cause of our limited beliefs. What do you think is holding you back? What is the negative emotion that you, or emotions that you experience, mostly on a daily basis, that cause fear from the past to come into the present moment, and then projects itself into the future, which becomes a level of anxiety, and it's that anxiety that leads to procrastination. So you have to ask yourself, what is that negative emotion or emotions, anger, jealousy, envy, shame, guilt, any combination thereof, what could that be that could be holding you back? And be able to then go through a process to find out where it started. Think about cancer, right? Cancer has a root to it. You can remove cancer from the body, but if you didn't get it at the root, it's coming back. Might not be right away, but it's coming back. It's the same thing. We can operate managing the problem, but are we really raising our level of influence and serving others at a higher level by doing that? No. So what I'm asking here today is to say that if you want, there's greatness, as Les Brown said, there's greatness in all of us. But you have to believe in that. Nobody can do that for you. And the way to get beyond that, to truly believe in yourself, is to get to the root cause of those limited beliefs. Because when you are the example, I don't need to be saying words to you. You are being it. People see it. They feel the energy. They observe. This is what people do. Think about children, right? Children don't listen to their parents. Or what you think they do.
They don't.
At least I know my son doesn't. But he observes what I do. And if I'm the example, I'm more likely to have a greater influence in a positive way by being that example, other than telling him what to do and not to do. It's the same thing in business, folks. It's being the example, getting to the root cause of limited beliefs. And how do you do that? Which I'm not going to have enough time today, but I'm going to give you two little nuggets here. It's called meditation and journaling. You heard John talk about faith. See, you can have faith and you need faith in your life, but faith in itself is not going to do it unless you believe in yourself. And nobody can make you believe in yourself other than you. Nobody. So, what is meditation going to do? Well, it's going to teach you over time, and you're consistent doing this every day, how to learn how to be present in the moment, to embrace calmness. Because when we're able to be calm and focused in the moment, three things happen. We have the ability to have more clarity, and when we have more clarity, we have the ability to be more decisive. And when we're more decisive, we have the ability to take massive action. Think about that. Clarity, decisiveness, and massive action. You ever seen like how certain people seem to get a lot done in a short period of time? And yet some of us are running around 12 hours a day, busy, but we're not productive. See, people observe that. If you want to influence somebody to be their best, whatever product or service that you have to be that example. And when you have the ability to be present, you're able to be focused in the moment only on that particular priority. You're not worried about what happened yesterday. You're not worried about what's going to happen in 4 hours. You're not worried what's going to happen next week. You're focused here because everything that you do in the process, day in, day out, week in, week out, month, quarter, yearly, will roll up to your desired outcome. This is what we teach the people indirectly that are observing you to do the same for themselves. There's no greater gift than the ability to influence others. Now there's another one that goes along with it. It's called journaling. So what this means is after you meditate, you're going to write down whatever comes to mind. You're not going to overanalyze it. You're not going to overthink it. You're just going to write down whatever comes to mind. It could be one word. It could be a paragraph. You might even write a book. Some of the greatest ideas in the world have come from this process. Guys like Tony Robbins, Mark Cuban, right? Write it down because you will have the ability to look at yourself as if we're another person. Think about it. You could give advice to someone else very easily, but you can't give the same advice to yourself. John talked about that today, about a lot of times that people will be talking about certain things or maybe consulting or coaching people, but they're not living it. They're not being that example. How can you be that? How can you be saying that if you're not being the example? There is no greater gift that you can give your business or give other people or give back to the community, your schools, and anything that you can think of by being the example first. Get out of the problem and into the solution. All right, so moving right along, so we only have a short period of time. I'm going to give you 5 key components to becoming a master influencer. You guys want to write this down? If you don't have a pen, get out your phones. You can type it in. So I like to call them the 5 I's of becoming a master influencer. Not I's like this, but the letter I. The first one is called insight. So what insight means is that you have the ability to really not only understand the vision and mission statement of what you do, but you have a clear understanding of your audience. You have the ability to be able to relate and to listen to understand your audience, not to respond. But here's another thing about insight. See, insight in itself is great, but if you don't apply it by being the example, it's not going to work. See, there's a lot of, this especially in corporations, you find a lot of intellectual intelligence in corporations. They base a lot of their decisions. They develop new products as a result of intellectual intelligence. Numbers, trends, stats, data. But if you don't factor in the emotional intelligence factor, it will not be sustainable long term. By having insight and applying it, by being the example, gives you that ability to incorporate intellectual and emotional intelligence to connect with your audience. Now next, you got to have initiative. So what would you think would be better? Being proactive or reactive?
Proactive.
Easy, right? Not a no-brainer. It's being proactive. It's the ability, when you're clear in the moment, you have the ability to see things before they happen. Are problems going to happen? Yes. We don't know when, but if we have the ability to recognize at certain times when that could happen and be able to kind of nip it before it escalates to something even further, we have the ability to modify and make changes that are necessary to serve our customers. Influencers do an awesome job. Number 3 is impact. How are you delivering your message? It's got to be consistent, but it's got to have impact. It's not about you. You could be the example. Yes, you could have a wonderful story, but it's got to be about them. There's somebody out there that needs to hear your message. But it's got to be delivered with impact. Not fluff, but being real. Being real with yourself so they can be real with themselves. There are so many people that want to make changes within their business, in their personal lives, but they can't. They're afraid. But if they can relate to you and you listen to understand them, you empower them to come out of their shell, to open up. Because, folks, successful business is a two-way street. You are not going to solve their problems. I hate to say it. You have a wonderful product and service, I'm sure everyone in this room does. But in itself, you will not solve their problems unless they have a part. And if they're not stepping up to do their part, it's not going to work. Or if it does work, it's not going to be long term. But if you have the ability to be that example and to empower them to do their part, it's going to work. And you're going to be able to weather the storm when things do happen. Because you're empowering them to kind of see the positive side of these and what this could happen as a result of the outcome. All right, so next is influence. We've already talked about influence. Again, the ability to put out information allows people to draw their own conclusion. There's nothing more powerful. Just think about it. When a person is able to make a decision for themselves to do something wonderful, to change their business, there's no greater gift. So your influence factor's got to be consistent every day. Maybe you take maybe a Saturday or Sunday. You got to be with family, right? But you got to do this with your family. You got to do this in your personal life too. You got to practice what you preach. Number 5. This is what keeps it all. The 4 eyes that I just talked about makes it all stick. It's the last eye. Who wants to guess what that eye, the last eye would be? You want to do it again? No. Michelle? What would be the last eye?
Intuitive?
Integrity.
Who said integrity?
Yeah.
There we go. Integrity. Think about it, guys. Can we be everything to everyone?
No.
No. Is it sometimes okay to walk away from business or refer business to someone else?
Yes.
Because in our heart, we know we can't serve them to the highest level they're looking for.
Yes.
Yeah. But here's the thing. A lot of times people will take the business because they want the business. They want the money. And they can kind of mask it in some way. But are you really doing not only them a service, but are you doing your business a service doing that long term? Because if you don't live up to their level of expectation, what happens? First thing they're going to do is point at you. Right? So here's the thing I want to leave you guys with, a statement that I'd like you to not only say to yourselves every day, but I want you to start to really feel it, because this is going to change not only the way you think, but the way that you'll be able to take your business to another level and really believe in it. It's a term what I call give without expectation. Say that again. Give without expectation. Receive without resistance. Give without expectation. Receive without resistance. So what that means is, if I gave something to, say, Michelle, and I just met Michelle, she was wonderful. And let's say she didn't return the favor, she didn't get back. If I had an expectation, I'd be disappointed, I'd become angry, and I get caught right back up into my limited beliefs and my problem to only repeat the process again and again and again. But if I give without expectation to her, and then all of a sudden, we haven't even met yet. And say 3 months later, she gives something in return to me. Money comes, she pays me for something. I don't know what for. It's happened, right? Has that ever happened to you? Had money just come, and you're like, where did this come from? You'd be surprised how many people will resist it. I didn't earn that. I don't deserve that. I didn't. See, what you put out comes back. What you put out comes back, but it doesn't mean it has to come from the source that you gave to. It's the same thing in business. I'm not saying that you just give everything away. You have to have some boundaries, but you got to give value every day and be consistent. When you're the example of that, you have the ability to set your foundation to sustain any problem or challenge and to really come out ahead better than you ever imagined. I put these principles into effect for the last 20 years of my life, and I had a lot of stuff I've been through. And has business always been great? No. But knowing that what I would become, as Jim Rohn used to say, would be far greater than anything else. And I can't imagine where my business would be without really living that statement I just told you. It took me 2 years to grasp it. 2 years. And I've been operating within the solution for 20 years. And I've been teaching this to people, clients of mine. I had a woman who walked in my office 6 months ago. And she was a speech and language pathologist. She'd been doing it for 30 years. She had been working, how much time do I have? Am I good? Okay. But for 30 years, and she worked in the nursing home industry. And she was getting tired of seeing what was going on in nursing homes. People would come in and see the brochure and see the nice shiny chandelier. Oh, what a wonderful place. Look at the meals they serve here. The people get together and they have fun. And it was directly the opposite. And she finally got the courage to step up and wanted to make a difference. But see, here was the thing. 6 months ago, she had no social media presence. Hardly at all. She didn't believe in herself enough to become an influencer at that point. She had an idea that she wanted to be an advocate for people, to give them information that would allow them to draw their own conclusion. So that end of it, she was on her way to becoming an influencer. She got it. We just needed to work on her believing in herself, find out what was getting in her way so that she could be the example, to develop some type of presence on social media, to develop a message that would be consistent in conveying exactly what she does. Now, is she like a superstar right now? No, she's on her way though. 6 months, she's called the voice of elder care advocacy. She has brought in a certain amount of business that she did not expect up to this point because of people hearing her message and leveraging that with other people that had connections with people that had parents that were at that age that were approaching the nursing home. And as a result of that, she got to the root cause of her limited beliefs. She developed a message that would be unbiased, that empowered the people to draw their own conclusion. And did that mean that everyone was going to do business with her? No. What, do we want to chase people? No. We want to work with the people that understand where we come from, but what it means to them. And in 6 months, this woman has made huge strides. She has been on numerous radio shows, podcasts, TV, and she was just offered her own TV show in Hartford, Connecticut, with plans to be syndicated over a 2 or 3 month period from the time it starts. She's on her way. Again, 6 months ago, she had nothing. Now, some of you in this room are probably well beyond that. I only brought that up because I wanted to get you somebody from the ground level. But you could be operating even at a higher level by being the example and operating from within the solution rather than the problem. Be the example, give without expectation, receive without resistance. So who wants to be an influencer and wants to take their business to another level? All right. So listen, I know we've got a short period of time. I'm going to end up leaving. If anybody is interested in finding more about the strategy, a blueprint, I'm going to give you a free ebook, Blueprint of a Legend, and I'm going to give you 20 minutes of time that we can talk about where you're at, what you're doing. And in 20 minutes, I'm going to either diagnose what's holding you back and what we can do to build your level of influence. 20 minutes. If you send a text to 203-733-8469, that's 203-733-8469, put your name, your email, 203-733-8469, your name, email, and I am an influencer. I want to hear you say that, or I want to see it. Put that in there. I will get back to you within 2 business days with information to set up a time convenient for you. And let's discuss taking your influencer status to a whole new level. I want to thank Al for having me here. It's a pleasure to serve today. And it's great to get to know some new people I haven't met today. Thank you so much.